Hi guys, and welcome back. I'm finally back from a little trip that I took to Tasmania, as you might have seen on my social media accounts. I was traveling around for about a week just having a bit of a break, but now I'm ready to get back into the content of this channel and really get some new videos and content posted for you. So I hope you've all been well. And if you're new here, my name is Kaylee June and I am a fashion and beauty photographer. However, I have started this channel for creative freelancers and content creators alike who want to start their own businesses and are really interested in all of the things that come along with freelancing, because I really love and enjoy talking about it, so I decided to make a channel about it. So today's topic, we're going to talk a little bit about how to boost your Instagram audience. And I know that this is a question on a lot of people's minds. It is something that I'm sure everyone that has an Instagram account probably wants to do. For the most part, but we're going to delve into some of the points that I think are really important to remember when you are posting on Instagram, and really things to remember if you're wanting to boost your audience, if you're really wanting to get more viewership. I think that there's a few things and a few little rules that you need to follow in relation to Instagram's algorithm, and hopefully these tips will really help with boosting your audience overall. So as I said, like most social media platforms, Instagram has an algorithm, and I think it's really important to remember that some of the points I'm going to talk about have relation to this algorithm. And the first tip that I'm actually going to talk about is posting consistently. Now, I know that this is something that everyone just hates to hear, is probably rolling their eyes at, and it's obvious in some ways, but I think for a lot of people, it is hard to stay consistent with social media, but at the same time, it's something that is almost essential with Instagram and with Instagram's algorithm as well. The more you're posting, the more the people are going to see your content. Also, with your audience that you currently already have, they may not always see your content when you post on a daily basis. So it is important to be posting as much as possible so that people will hopefully see your work and you will hopefully gain more of an audience that way. The more you do post on Instagram, the more chance you're going to have of your work being found by people, and the more chance you'll have of boosting your audience overall. I tend to say that usually a minimum of 3 times a week is good for Instagram. I personally mix it up a little bit depending on how busy I am or depending on how I've scheduled my images and how much content I have to schedule. So usually I'll do it probably every second day. I'll schedule an image on Instagram to be posted. There have been times where I have done it daily for months. Having said that, I have noticed as soon as I've taken a break on Instagram, a lot of the time the engagement and followers actually go down. So it is something that's important to be aware of if you're wanting to boost your Instagram audience, is to stay consistent. The second tip that I'm going to talk about is by using hashtags that are relevant to your genre of whatever you're doing. So I think it's really important to remember here too, though, that I'm talking about hashtags in the sense of ones that are really relevant to what you're doing, not necessarily just your really popular hashtags on Instagram that get millions upon millions upon millions of people viewing them every day or going and searching for them. I think that it's really hard to use those types of hashtags because your work can really get lost underneath the very popular ones. But try finding ones that are really relevant for you and your genre of work, and something that's kind of a little bit more detailed and specific to what you do. So for example, I use a couple of hashtags like Sydney fashion photographer or Melbourne beauty photographer because I frequent between both Melbourne and Sydney, and because I do fashion and beauty photography, I like to mix up those hashtags a little bit more so people can find me better. And especially with those particular hashtags, I feel like I'm reaching out to the right kind of people that would be searching for those hashtags, which could potentially be clients. So I really like to keep that in mind as well when I'm putting my hashtags down. I tend to use quite a lot of hashtags because I like to have a bit more of a broad spectrum of hashtags to reach out to a broader audience, but you can have less if you prefer. I just feel that it's important to use direct hashtags and things that are relevant to you and your genre. That is something that's very important to remember with Instagram, because otherwise, unfortunately, your work tends to get lost and no one will find you and your profile. Number 3 is to post good quality content. Now, I know this sounds like another obvious one, but I think sometimes we do get in the trap of trying to be consistent and then putting up work that we don't necessarily feel is great or that we don't feel is up to our usual standard. I've done this a lot. I think that this is really something to remember when you're posting. I know this is a hard thing to juggle with being consistent and trying to post good quality work all the time at the same time, but I think this is where scheduling comes in, and it's really easy to do this ahead of time. So finding your best images, scheduling ahead of time so then you've still got more time to go out and create new work or create new imagery or content for you to post on Instagram. So as much as it is about a bit of quantity, it's also very much about quality, and you really need to find the balance with Instagram. Unfortunately, it's not so much one or the other. It is kind of a bit of both. So really do keep that in mind when you are posting your content to try and boost your audience on Instagram, and make sure that you're doing it so that people can find you and really enjoy looking at your work and click that follow button straight away. The next tip I want to talk about is replying to all of your comments. This is a super important thing that I've learned over the years. It is so important to help your engagement, to help people find you, to help boost your audience on Instagram. It is to reply to all the comments that you do receive from your current audience. This really pushes your work up. It shows that you're active on Instagram, and it shows that you are responding to comments and you are participating in that engagement. This is a really important factor for Instagram's algorithm as well. So if you do really want to gain more of an audience on Instagram, it's important to make sure that you are engaged, you're engaged with the people on the platform, and you are replying to all the comments that you can. And the fifth tip that I'm going to talk about today is making sure that you do have a certain cohesiveness to your feed. Now, when I say cohesiveness, I'm not necessarily speaking about a theme for Instagram. Now, this is something that I really want to get into in another video in terms of whether you should have an Instagram theme or not. But I think for the vast majority of creatives, it's important to have some sort of cohesiveness with your work. So even if that means tying in your imagery together with colors or composition or even design, just finding those little ways to help bring a little bit more aesthetic cohesiveness to your feed overall. So then when people are looking and they see your feed and they can see what you're all about straight away, and that there is a little bit more cohesiveness with your theme. It's not always easy to do this, and it can take a little bit of time to figure out how you want your feed to look. I do recommend planning ahead though. Like I said in the last tip, it's really important to plan your feed ahead of time so you can really get all of this going with your work and really see how it looks overall. I think it's really important to have a bit of a link between your work on Instagram and to really show what you're all about just by having a glance at your feed. And I think that's really good for people that do stumble upon your page, because a lot of the time they won't spend a lot of time looking at your page. Instagram is a very fast platform. So as soon as you can grab their attention and keep it and enough for them to follow you, the better. Okay guys, well I hope you really enjoyed these 5 tips on how to boost your Instagram audience. I hope they were helpful, and I really hope that you were able to apply them to your own Instagram feeds. Let me know in the comment section below what your favorite tips are for boosting your Instagram audience and what you found to have really worked with your own feed. There's really so many different things that can help build your Instagram audience, but I do believe that some of these tips are the very big staples of what helps and what can really link in with the Instagram algorithm as well. So even though some of them might sound a little bit obvious, they are important, and it is important to do them in conjunction with each other to really achieve that boost that you want for your audience. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, make sure that you do click the subscribe button, as I'll be having a lot more of this type of content on my channel in future. And thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next one. Bye!